Hello students, in Morphology of Flowering Plants, we have completed the morphology of the root, shoot, leaves, and we have also completed inflorescence. In this lecture, we are going to look at the morphology of a single flower. Flower, as you know, is the reproductive unit of the plant. It is produced from the shoot apical meristem at the terminal bud or at the axillary bud. That is, it can be in the terminal position or it can be in the axillary position. It is produced by the shoot apical meristem. When the shoot apical meristem is supposed to get transformed into a flower, it gets converted into a floral meristem, and as such a flower is born. Normally a shoot apical meristem will grow into a branch and it will form the nodes, and at every nodes it will produce leaves. But when the shoot apical meristem gets transformed into a floral meristem, instead of producing a long branch and producing nodes at very long internodes, the shoot is going to get extremely compressed in such a manner that all the nodes come to arrive at very quick successions, but they will be nodes nevertheless. And at each node, the leaves are also going to emerge, but they are going to be modified leaves. And these leaves are nothing but your floral appendages. 4 different types of leaves will be produced. 4 different types of floral appendages are going to be produced from each node at very quick succession. This shoot has now become very condensed and modified. So a flower can be defined as a condensed and a modified shoot. Why has it been modified and condensed? For the purpose of sexual reproduction in plants. In the course of learning the morphology of the root, shoot and leaves, you learned how the roots, shoot and leaves can also be modified for vegetative propagation. But vegetative propagation are the means of asexual reproduction in plants, whereas the formation of a flower is for the purpose of sexual reproduction in plants. Flower, it is the reproductive unit of plant. It is for sexual reproduction. It can be produced at terminal bud or axillary bud. Shoot apical meristem in these buds get converted to floral meristem. Flower can be defined as a condensed and modified shoot. Condensed because shoot axis produces nodes at quick succession. The nodes bear modified leaves which are equal to the floral appendages. So look at this flower. This is the modified shoot that is bearing nodes at very quick succession, which is bearing these floral appendages. This part of the shoot that bears all the floral appendages, it is known as the thalamus or the receptacle. This is the stalk of the flower, which is called as the pedicel, and these are the 4 whorls of the flower. This is the first whorl, which is called as the calyx. The whorl is called as the calyx, but the individual member of this whorl is known as the sepals. Individual members are known as sepals. The second whorl, the whorl is known as corolla, and the individual members are known as petals. The whorl inside is known as Androecium. The individual members of this whorl are known as the stamens. The last whorl is known as Gynoecium, and the individual members of this whorl are known as Pistil or Carpel. Out of these 4 whorls that are there in the flower, only 2 whorls are actually involved in the sexual reproduction process, and they are the Androecium and the Gynoecium. Androecium is the male reproductive whorl and the Gynoecium is the female reproductive whorl. Why are they called as the male reproductive whorl and the female reproductive whorl? Because the Androecium are involved in production of the male gametes, and the Gynoecium is involved in the formation of the female gametes. Inside the Gynoecium, there is presence of these structures which are known as ovules, inside which there will be the gametes. So since Androecium and Gynoecium are the actual whorls involved in the reproduction process, they are known as the essential whorls. And the corolla and the calyx will be called as the non-essential whorls. Calyx and corolla are said to be the non-essential or non-reproductive whorls, and the Androecium and the Gynoecium are said to be the essential / reproductive whorls. In nature, you will find 2 types of flowers. flowers in which there will be presence of both the types of reproductive whorls within the same flower, that is Androecium and Gynoecium, and then there will be other types of flowers in which one of the reproductive whorls will be missing. Either Androecium will be missing or Gynoecium will be missing. So such flowers will be called as male flowers or female flowers depending on the type of reproductive whorl that they have. Why is this change done? In order to facilitate cross fertilization. If both the whorls are within the same flower, then the chances of self-fertilization increase, which is not a desirable trait in nature. Nature encourages cross-fertilization. So that's why the flowers may have only Androecium or only Gynoecium. If both the reproductive whorls are present in the same flower, such flowers will be called as bisexual flowers. And if the flower has only one of the reproductive whorls, such flowers are called as unisexual flowers. Bisexual flower has both Androecium plus Gynoecium, and unisexual flowers has either Androecium, that is in this case they will become staminate flower, or has Gynoecium. In such case, the flower will be called as a pistillate flower. What is the function of the calyx? What do the sepals do? They protect the flower in the bud stage. Protect flower in the bud stage. Corolla. What is the purpose of corolla? Attracting the pollinators. Okay, they may be fragrant. They will have nectaries onto them. Normally the calyx and the corolla are distinct whorls, but in some cases, for example in lily, the calyx and corolla are not distinct. That is, they are fused together to form one whorl. In such cases, the whorl is known as a perianth. Perianth is the one in which calyx and corolla are not distinct. That is, they are fused together. Therefore, the whorl is called perianth. Example, in lily. On a stem axis, the flower can be borne at two places. That is, at the terminal position or in the axillary position. If the flower is borne in the terminal position, that will be called as a terminal flower. And if it is borne in the axillary position, it will be called an axillary flower. For such type of axillary flowers, let's say it formed a flower over here. In such cases, this leaf that is present beneath this flower, this leaf is known as a bract. Right below the pedicel, this is the pedicel, the stalk. Right below the pedicel, there will be presence of the bract. In many flowers, the bract will be missing. For example, if the flower is formed at the terminal position, there will be no bract for this flower, or else even if it is produced at the axillary position, the bract may be missing. For some flowers, the bract may simply be missing. If the bract is present, such flower is called as a bracteate flower. Bracteate flower has bract below the flower. And if a flower does not have the bract, it is known as an ebracteate flower. No bracts. The bract is defined as the reduced leaf at the base of flower. So this was the general morphology of the flower. In the next class, we will look at the symmetry of flowers. In the name of Lord Mahadev, please subscribe